On today's episode of the Park of Wide Open Space, we find out how many trees are too many trees to still be considered wide open space, whilst creating custom curbing simulator. Oh, there's a roller coaster. There's also a roller coaster. Oh, you guys, we are another week down, and we are another week closer to Planet Coaster 2, and I literally can't wait. I'm getting so excited. I just want to play it now. But for now, we can only play Planet Coaster 1, and we need to finish our Janky park. It's the one that's inspired by Oakwood and Pleasurewood Hills here in the UK. This is what we did last week. We basically bought Nightmare from Camelot and put it into our park, and this is the janky open space that we've got. However, last week we did say, and we alluded to, the fact that this train station is called Silverwood. That suggests there is a wood somewhere. There's woods. Well, there is. Here we go. Here it is. I wanted to take inspiration from Oakwood and the Treetops coaster, and that's what we've got going on here. It's a simple coaster. It comes out the station, up a lift hill, and then meanders its way through a fairly low to the ground layout, and that's because of the way Planet Coaster does its physics and its friction and whatever. So it's fine. It is what it is. It's just going to need a little bit of tweaking from the terrain and a bit of train paint and stuff. But anyway, I wanted to have a wooded area. So if you look at the park from above, we do have all of our open space, and contrary to what we've been saying over the last couple of weeks, I do want to enclose an area, and this area is here, and then of course the woods will go off in some direction or whatever. So this is what the green crosses all represent, areas that are going to be heavily wooded, and I'm starting to get a feel for the layout of this. Likewise, I've just started to put some of the supporting rides and stuff around so I can get an idea of where stuff's going to be with the queue lines and whatever, and also some shops. So this is not really much to look at the moment, is it? I'm going to carry on. I'm going to start building. I will see you in a minute. Oh, you guys, I am ready to call this. Custom curbing is the new custom supporting. It is absolutely worth doing, but my God, it takes so long. I'm literally 3 days into this, by the way, and yeah, this is all I've got to show for it. But when you're doing custom areas where you're wanting to use path covers and stuff, it's absolutely needed, because you need to have the ability to be able to hide your misdemeanors and stuff, like this bit here, for example. So yeah, it's absolutely worth doing, and it creates results like this. But yeah, it's a bind, let's say. It really is. But I'm actually really chuffed with how this is turning out at the moment. I say that every week, right? I seem to be saying that a lot. But this is the idea that I'm going for with the whole open space down here and the foresty space here. When the trees and foliage comes in and stuff, you're going to see what I'm going for. But I have also probably created a bit of a rod for my own back here by having so many paths. Like, for example, this one here probably has been put in similarly to the idea that we did here. So I don't know if I actually might just copy that idea. You know, this whole food unit was here, and this path has just been trodden in over the years, and they've gone, no, we're just going to put a path in similar to this one, right? Now, I don't know whether this would be a natural path that people would have through this grass, but it feels like they would, and there might actually be another one sort of like that way as well. I don't know. Let's just see how it pans out. I don't want to ruin the park, right? It's still got to have some kind of something going for it. So anyway, this is the junior coaster. I chose, by the way, the dragon one because it doesn't have the station pens, you know, the air gates and whatever. It's just a bland station, and that's exactly what I wanted. I could have also used the Slimer one as well, but hey, it's fine. And controversially, I've decided to actually copy Treetops and not have a canopy. It doesn't have a station building, and I'm happy with that. It looks all right. It's going to look all right actually when the trees and whatever are in. This is the maintenance area. Kept it nice and simple. I don't know if this was in actually. It might not have been in. So this is the maintenance area anyway. And I've had to rejig the queue to put in the transfer track mechanism too. But yeah, it's looking all right. And as I said, when the trees and whatever are in, it's all going to look decent. I have just changed the terrain and whatever, so it's now undulating. And this park is starting to not feel like a completely flat park, because of course we do have train changes and stuff that are coming. But yeah, I'm alright with this. And the don't die fencing doesn't have to be too high on this one, because the coaster, as you can probably tell, doesn't actually travel that fast, so it's not that much of a risk. And then the queue line, I wanted to do the idea of tarmac on this one again. So the path cover I'm using outside will be the rough concrete one that makes it like just a poured concrete area. And then I've actually said that inside here is going to be the tarmac. I don't think I want to keep it this colour. I think I want to age it slightly, so I think it will be a slightly lighter colour as if it's been there for quite a while. But that's, you know, that's the vibe that I'm going for. I quite like this turnaround, you know. There's just something about it. Put tree and whatever in there and it'll be decent. Like, yeah, okay. And then what I've also done here is started to separate and split out the forest area from the open area by putting in the fences. Now the fences are there because you don't really want your guests running into a forested area. There's loads of places you could hide, loads of things that could happen, all sorts of stuff. So this is something that Oakwood does do, and it actually does it primarily because of terrain changes and stuff, just to keep guests safe. They do have an element of safety, they just probably do it in a different way. So this is what I'm doing. Anywhere that you see that there is a fence, there's going to be some kind of a wooded area or interaction with a wooded area, or an area where you don't want guests walking constantly on grass and whatever. So like here, this fence is just in to stop people from walking along here, and then likewise this one here is just to stop it from walking along here. So this is the first unit then that we've got here. It's a nice simple affair. I don't really need it to be any more than this. Again, I'm just using that two-tone wood effect because it just seems to work in this kind of environment. I'm not deliberately going for western or hut or lodge or anything like that, or foresty. It's not themed as such. It's just how the park would have been built in the early days when they first opened. It just would have been the style they would have used. And so this has probably been modernised over the years. Inside it's going to be a simple affair. We'll just put some benches in. I might do some stuff with the walls and whatever, but I'm also quite tempted to leave it actually because it looks all right as it is. I don't know. We'll play it out. But this is the patio area. I always wanted this to be a different floor texture. I always wanted to have it as a paved area, not a paved area, but like a block paved area. So this is cool. I did originally think that it was going to be forested and it was going to be hidden in the forest, but actually when I started to lay out how the forest was going to lay out some more, as I started to lay out where the forest was going to go, and I wanted this path to almost like follow the tree line, I kind of decided not to do that. It needed to be open. The space needs to breathe, so that's what we're doing. This is the other one then. This is Hot Dog Squad. From this side, it's just your usual design that we've got elsewhere, right? We're not doing anything particularly special with this one. And then you ride photos to the other side. It just like it's a shared space. It's a shared building, and that works for me anyway. Then we've got the fast pass unit. It needed a second fast pass unit because the first one we've got is really hidden. Like you have to know that it's there for it to all completely make sense. So this is the fast pass unit, and I'm just gonna call it. And people are actually gonna buy it. Amazing. Okay. Didn't think they were, but that's fine. Then this is the next set of buildings. So the Cho-Cho toilets, they are pretty much done. I'm trying something different with this one. I've actually put the cubicles in a different configuration. I'd normally put them along this wall and this wall, but actually I'm thinking it should be along this wall. And then you've got the urinals and the sinks on the one side, and then just sinks for the ladies' toilets on the others. I know that girls are classy, but you don't need urinals. So this is all of course going to be forested and stuff, so that's all going to be cool. And then this building here is pretty much Megaphobia. Yes, it's the Megaphobia shop shape, but I kind of needed something that was going to be slightly different to all of the other style of buildings. And I wanted to have this overhang, and this felt like it was the perfect space for it. It's an L shape in there. It sort of makes this all make sense. I want this ride to feel like it's been placed independently to all of this area. So maybe at some point this was like these two buildings were always here. This was the seating area for that. This was where you'd go and have like picnics and whatever. And I've actually ended up putting a ride on that pad, which is why this looks a little bit hastily thrown together on an actual tarmac pad. And then this ride was added as part of it as well. And they've just weaved the queue line through the trees where they can, because they can't do mass tree removals. That's something that we have here in the UK, is we have to have some kind of conservation going on. So that's kind of what I'm going for with that vibe, and I think it gets pulled off quite nicely. So yeah, it's a bit of a more terrain and garden style episode than it is a roller coaster episode. But I'm really liking how this is turning out. I just need to get this done now because it's eating away at me. So I will see you in a minute, and it's going to be done. Alright, I've got a question for you. What is the diametric polar opposite of wide open space? Yes, closed in forest. I mean, this is the complete opposite of everything I've been talking about for the last 4 episodes about this park needing to sprawl, etc. Well, you can still do sprawl whilst it's still enclosed, and that's exactly what we've got. Because if you think that you've got a coaster in here somewhere and you've got the rides around the outside, there's all of this space in the middle. It is quite literally a sprawl. Fair warning, there's lots of trees. This is going to be an unpretty tour because you know what camera work is like. So we're going to do a top-down bit, and then we're going to need to go down to peak level to see the detailing and stuff, right? So this is the coaster running through the trees. I like it. Each tree, by the way, is placed with care. This is where I really wish we had the scenery brush, because it would have made this bit so much easier. But each tree placed with absolute care, rotated, height adjusted, and all sorts. This isn't just a case of spamming around different trees and hoping for the best. This is all about correct and appropriate placement for the trees. So it all weaves in and out of the track. And do you know what? I've ridden this coaster now, and it actually rides all right. I'm happy with this. I mean, it's not treetops at Oakwood, but it's very similar. I thought as well that treetops had more of a canopy. I thought it was more covered over. It's really not. It's actually quite open. So I wasn't too sure about whether this was going to be too open or not. But no, this is actually the right amount of space. I've also just done some touching up work along the catwalks and stuff. Put all the lights in. There's this little concrete bit down here where you would find all of the motor houses and that sort of stuff. And then the maintenance area is all down here. The thing to remember, by the way, when you're seeing clipping and whatever, we talk about this all the time, right? And people always go, oh, you should never have clipping scenery. But actually, you should, because nature doesn't know boundaries. So it stands to reason that there would be bits of trees and whatever growing underneath fences and through concrete and that sort of stuff. So I've left it like that, and I actually dig it. So we've got the maintenance area that's just in here, nice and simple. It hasn't even got road access, by the way. That's how easy these coasters are to actually maintain. The station is done, and I don't know how much of this, I don't remember how much of this was in the last one, but I put the fences and stuff along here exactly the same as Treetops does. And this is actually the pallet sunk in, and then there's another pallet underneath just to give it a complete texture, and then it's coloured a dark brown, and it actually looks like it's like oldish kind of wood. I quite like it. I don't know why I've not done this before. It works, and it looks like this kind of station. Yeah, I mean, I'm totally here for it, and I love it. The transfer track and stuff is now done. I like all this, how this is, and how close this gets to the rake run as well. Like, it's cool. I'm all right with it. Then the queue line, it comes through. See, this is what I meant. This is exactly what I was talking about. So we're going to go back up to the top. So the queue line running through the trees. Absolutely perfect. Yep, loving it. So that's the coaster. You'll also spot as well, these were already in the last update, but they're now completely consistent. All of the string lights and whatever, there was a reason I put them in over at the drop tower, and that's because I wanted to continue it through here. So that's what we've got. This was the tree line idea that I was going for. So you can see that the path here comes all the way along the outside of the tree line, and then the actual tree line continues along through the grass bit, and you have this like awkward transition bit between overgrowth and whatever. The forest, by the way, is made up of layers. I know that you guys are going to ask me about it. So the first thing I did, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it properly. First thing you do is your undergrowth layer. That's basically just lots of trees sunk into the ground, and just creating like a little bit of shrubbery going on. Then I go through and do a dead layer, and that's just using the creosote bush. I don't know if you see, it blends in so well you can't point it out. The creosote bush is perfect for showing dead twigs and bits of plants that are no longer growing and stuff. So that then starts to build up the next layer. The next layer after that is the autumn layer. So these are all of the autumn trees that you see. It just gives a little bit of colour to your and depth to your undergrowth and to your shrubbery. And then you start your bush layer. So I don't know if we're going to be able to see it. So like all of these rhododendrons and all that sort of stuff, giving it a little bit of bulk. And then you do your trees. So then you start to filter it out or fill it out with all of your trees. And you use different trees for different purposes and canopy and whatever. So yeah, there's also rocks in here somewhere. There's lots going on. And it just creates this foresty vibe. And there's a tutorial that I did on nature if you want to go and see it. So we come over to the claw. Ah, guys, this was just a happy accident. This is the new ride for this year. I think this is what we're saying. I'd spoken in the previous update about this being an old picnic area. So this would have been a big pad where there would have been lots of picnic benches and stuff, and you would have been in the woods. And then the access point to it would have been here and here. And I've actually said, right, they've actually put the claw ride in here. And yeah, this is tarmac. And I coloured the tarmac darker to make it look like it was brand new. And it's worked, an absolute treat. This dirt wouldn't have grown in yet because it's still too new. And with the tarmac and whatever, yes. I just love how this looks new and just it's only just opened. Absolutely here for it. Then we've got the Insanity ride. That's sitting quite nicely with its queue line now running through the trees. And again, this is just the same technique as before, but this time the queue is going around all of the different trees and whatever. And then over this side, we've got our plane ride that's actually out in the open. It's surrounded by fields. It's surrounded by all of the open space. I've just dappled out some of the open space with some of the flowers and whatever, just to give it a little bit of space variation. But actually, if you look at Oakwood, it would just be large manicured areas of grass. There wouldn't be flowers and whatever messing this whole thing up. But yeah, I mean, it works and it's good. I mean, this is the open space that you get from down here, right? So that's exactly what I was going for. I thought of another pathway, by the way, that people would probably walk through, and it would be round this way. So I've just put that in as dirt and whatever. Then over here, picnic benches and whatever, just like I did on the other open space, and then just weathered the terrain slightly to make it look like people have been walking on it. And then this is like the pizza hut, if you like. I like it. It's simple. It doesn't need to be, I don't want it, in fact it probably needs to be more than this, but I don't want it to be any more than this. If you look at the Oakwood ones, they are literally this, just plain textures and a plain building. Happy days. I love it. And then this is the patio area that I wanted. It's a slightly darker or like brighter pink because it needs to feel like it was brand new. So yeah, I like it. Then this is the hot dog squad. This is probably one of the original huts that would have been in here with the pathway coming around this way. I've just given it its roof and a bit of touching up and whatever, and it's looking good. And then this way, we've got ride photos, and it's just a photo unit. And I've just put in the cash machine just for functionality purposes and whatever. We talked about that last week. So, yeah, then we're going to walk through this way. I love this. It's just so foresty. It's just perfect. It's everything. Yes, everything I planned. There's the queue then for the Dragon Coaster, and then there's the Fast Pass unit. Nice and simple. Just kept it elegant, kept it beautiful. Happy days. And we're going to walk back through this way, and then you have your two original huts that would have been here. So this is the Tiki Chicky, and then the toilets over this side. This is just, yes, it sits perfectly. It sits perfectly in amongst all of the trees and stuff, and it's just brilliant. I wanted to keep, by the way, an area of this slightly clear, almost as if there would have been a path here, but there's not anymore, and it started to grow over. I did talk about not respecting boundaries. That definitely needs fixing, so I will fix that at some point. That's not what I was talking about. Toilets in here though, all done. It's all as you would want it to be, and then the outside here is just is all also looking good. I did also take the opportunity just to connect the path around the back here. I need to do all of this when I start doing the touching up work, and you would have also noticed that I haven't done anything the other side of the railway other than just dotted down a couple of trees, and that's because the maintenance areas and stuff are going to be over here. So that's going to be in that episode where we do that. So there it is, and I love it. I am so here for it. Yes. I'm glad it's done. This was the episode I was dreading doing because it was just lots of custom work, but it totally pays off. So guys, thank you for getting to the end of the episode. I really do appreciate it. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the usual stuff. We're going to go for a ride on the Dragon Coaster. I will see you next week for what I think is going to be the Shooting Dark ride. So I will catch you then. Have a good week. Speak to you later. Bye!